Welcome back to the next portion of the calculator video. This is part of the introduction to your course. So if we go to the stopping place, we've done a lot of these. The next problem, we're actually on the back of your worksheet. So we're moving to some more difficult problems, some actual math problems. Okay, this one involves parentheses and also exponents. So let me remind you, we've already covered the exponent key. That is right there. And the parentheses are right beside it. So we'll be using those and the exponent key. Also divide and add, and then the digit keys. So this one is a little different than the last one we saw with parentheses. This one actually has a math problem inside the parentheses. So that must be done first. We need to tell the calculator to do that first. So here's how you do it. All clear and equals will be your first and last keys. We need to open parentheses, and I'll circle that in yellow. And eventually we're going to have to close the parentheses. Those always happen in pairs, open and close. Put that math problem inside the parentheses. Then we're going to add 6 to the third power. And let me type this in exactly the way I've shown you. So all clear, open parentheses, close parentheses, plus 6xy3. You should get 225 and 2 tenths, 225.2. So if you have a problem that has a problem in parentheses, this is how you could do that. Okay, the next section is about percents, and you notice there's no calculator picture here because this is not a new button. This is something that you can do with just regular buttons. But I need to tell you how to solve a percent problem, just in case you've never learned how to do that. Now, if you have learned how to do it and you already have a method for solving percents, you can skip over this video. This part is just about solving percents. And you can actually skip to the end of this video because that's all I'm going to cover here. So if you already know how to do percents, I would stop this video and go on to the next one. If you don't know how to do percents, I'm going to show you a method that works. There are several ways of doing percent problems, but this one to me is the easiest. The only thing, though, that you have to remember is the basic proportion for percents. And if you don't know what a proportion is, a proportion is simply two fractions that are equal, or two ratios that are equal. So there is a percent proportion that you have to memorize if you're going to use this method. And percent literally means per 100. So part of our proportion has to be 100. That's what the word percent means. So 100 is constant. It will be in every single one of these problems. On top of the 100 will always be the percent. If you know the percent in your problem, you'll set it up over 100. And then on the other side, we have always the part on top. And that's usually, if it's written as a statement, we'll have the word is. Not always, but most of the time, I think. And then the whole is the of. So that's the bottom part of the proportion on the right. So you have to memorize this. You cannot find this on an exam. It has to be in your mind. So let me show you how to use this proportion to solve a problem. So this first one says, what is 35% of 250? Well, notice there's the of. Here is the percent. And we do not know the is. That's the piece that we're looking for. So build your proportion. We know that 100 is constant. And I know that that percent has to go over the 100. So 35 over 100 is 35%. And then the word of tells me that this is a whole number. So it's going to sit on the bottom. And the is, the top number, the part, is what we're trying to find. So once you get this set up, you get this proportion built. Sorry, I'm trying to get rid of that thing. Then what? How do you actually do the math for this proportion? The first thing I want you to do is to draw what I call a peanut right here. Okay. And you can see why, to me, that sort of looks like a peanut. The proper name for this is cross multiplying, or a cross product that we're about to find. But to me, it looks like a peanut. It's easier to visualize as a peanut. Let me show you why we can't draw it this way. Okay. You see that there's nothing there. So we can't do the peanut that direction. We have to have two numbers in the peanut. So you draw that thing, and you always multiply whatever you have in a peanut. So 250 times 35, and I do not know that, so let me multiply it on my calculator, is 8750. And then your next step is to divide that number by what's not in the peanut. And in this case, it's the 100. So you divide that through, and your calculator will give you that. You can put a 0 on there if you're dealing with money. That would be $87.50. If you're not dealing with money, you can leave the 0 off. So let me give you a little story to go with this problem. Let's suppose that I go over to Lowe's or Home Depot or Walmart. I want to buy a microwave. So I'm in there, I'm looking at microwaves, and I find one that I really like. And the price tag on that microwave is $250. So that's the whole price. That's the original price. That's the value of this microwave. But there happens to be a sale this day. And so there's a sticker on there that says that I can get 35% off. So the price of the microwave is $250. I can save 35%. So the part that I'm going to save is $87.50. Okay. So that's a practical story for how these pieces are fitting together. Okay, let's try this next one. 250 is what percent of 2,000? So let's set up our proportion. This is just going to help me find the percent. 100 is constant. We don't know the percent, but we know the is, we know the part, and we know the whole. So let's draw the peanut. Remember, the peanut has to have two numbers. So we have to go this way this time. And we always multiply the peanut. So 250 times 100 is 25 with 3 zeros. So 25,000. And we're dividing that by 2,000. And please notice that I am just giving you calculator keystrokes here. This is not a true math statement. I really should not be writing it this way, but I'm showing you the calculator buttons, not an actual equation here. So 25,000 divided by 2,000 is going to equal 12.5. Okay, let me show you an example of that in a practical terms. Let's just stick to our kitchen Lowe's example. While I'm buying the microwave, I see this very nice refrigerator that I want to buy. And the price tag on the refrigerator is $2,000. So the sales clerk says, I cannot give you 35% on the refrigerator, but I can give you $250 off. So this time I am saving $250. This is the whole price. And so that amounts to a 12.5% coupon, or a 12.5% discount. On the microwave, I got 35%. I got a much larger savings on the original price. But in this problem, I'm only getting a 12.5% discount, but that's still a pretty good chunk of money. So I'll take that any day. And again, I'm just making up a story to go with these numbers to help you see a little bit clearer what those are. Okay, to do this bottom one, I need to move my work up a little bit to give myself some room. So let's take a look at this third one. 456 is 36% of what number? Round to the nearest tenth. So the first thing I need is my proportion, if you're doing it this way. And we know that the 100 is built in. So my percent is 36. And I know that because of the percent sign. 456 is, so that's a part. Is goes on top. And think carefully about where to draw the peanut. It must have two numbers. So it's going to go this direction. And you're going to say 456 times 100 equals 45600. Hit division. 36 is not in the peanut, so that's what you will divide by. So 456 times 100 equals, divide 36 equals, and this number is not very pretty. A bunch of 6s and a 7. Okay, This tells us to round to the nearest tenth, and that's the first decimal place. So that's the first thing I want to do, figure out where the tenths place is. And let me zoom in here so you can really see what I'm doing. We've marked the tenths place, and we're going to look at not the tenths place, the hundredths place, the neighbor. And all of this stuff is just going to go away. We don't need all of those extra sixes. In fact, no, I have room, so I won't delete it, but okay, let me remind you of the rounding rule. If you imagine a hill with a 5 on the top, and then on the low end of the hill, I have 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. And this hill is what I call the neighbor hill. If the neighbor is in this range, you will round up. If the neighbor is in this range, your problem will stay the same. So let's look at the neighbor. The tenths place is what we want to round to, so the neighbor is actually this number. And if you look at the hill, you find that 6, it's in the roundup range. So we are going to say 1, 2, 6, 6, and then that yellow number, the tenths place, will round up. And this is actually the answer that you're looking for. So sometimes they will tell you that they want you to round to a certain place. And if they do, your answer is not correct if you don't follow that instruction. Okay, I'm going to break the video, and I'll see you in the next one.